Happy Saturday, and welcome to the Ram Ashram Satsang Weekend Workshop, where you'll learn a modern Satsang method for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. My name is Eddie, and I will be introducing the facilitator for today's event. But first, I'd like to give you a brief overview of this weekend workshop. If you direct your attention towards your screen, you'll see the first element is Satsang. Satsang is a scientific method whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in our life. It requires no physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience to begin its practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important part of Satsang. When we meditate, we withdraw consciousness from worldly objects and direct it inwards to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, thereby allowing us to obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of Satsang, inner Satsang and outer Satsang. An example of outer Satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer Satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior, but only through the practice of inner Satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. The Satsang that you will learn today is an inner Satsang where we meditate in silence. Group sessions. These weekend workshops are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these weekend workshops, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul. But only through the practice of inner Satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice Satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy, which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda for today consists of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a Satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, instructions on how to meditate will be given, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you have the opportunity to ask questions, or there'll be a panel discussion. And now, I'd like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of Satsang experience. He is the grandson of Guru Maharaj, the founder of Ram Ashram Satsang. He was born into a Satsang family where he experienced his family members obtain states of enlightenment and lead lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. And during that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang could have on mankind. And upon arriving to the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsangs for local satsangees. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English and has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English-speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout the United States, India, and England, facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of Satsang as taught by Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
Happy Saturday, everyone. Glad to be here. And I think let's, my grandfather, when he started this, his entire goal was that somehow we connect to this higher state of consciousness, as Eddie was saying. This whole process does that. And sometimes I think, consciousness is consciousness. So what's higher state of consciousness? So I think if we compare to other conscious beings, humans have the ability to not only understand, but go deeper and connect to it and feel this consciousness in a way that from a state where you have very little understanding to a higher level of understanding and awareness. And that, I think, is what Satsang does. Guru Maharaj wrote a 7-volume book, he says that somebody who has, understood and, so understanding is one thing, but connecting and feeling the purity of this consciousness in a way that, normal folks don't. Once you achieve that higher, quote unquote, the higher state of consciousness, the peace, light, and love, as Eddie was referring to, almost like comes along with it. What he says is that people who have attained that state, just sitting with them changes your awareness, your connection to the consciousness, and your ability to understand the characteristics of that consciousness. So I think that is the core of satsang. Like there are other ways to research, other ways to make effort, other ways to, contemplate. But here, just by being with someone who has that state, you literally, it's like, it's an infectious state, which just makes you get to that without much effort. In his 7-volume book, he talks about an Urdu word called tawazze. If we were to just translate it, I think one close word that goes with it is more like attention, but this is far beyond that. This is more of a higher state of consciousness. Once you connect to it, once you're with it, you literally, uplift yourself to that level as well. And that, the person at the higher state has, also doesn't have to do much, because just by being with them, you transform yourself, and you don't do much because just by being there, things are happening. So this transformation, or It's also called Shaktipat, or transfer of power, and it's also called Satsang. So anyway, so to make it more accessible to more people, in 1930, Guru Maharaj decided to package this and make it more public, and that's what we will practice. It's a process to manifest transcendental energy. It is very, very unique in the sense that a lot of common elements of meditation have been pulled together to make it a very simple but very powerful method that the ability to connect, the ability to orient, the ability to imbibe this transcendental energy is simplified. I would say oversimplified to a point where people can achieve this connection and hence achieve this state of higher consciousness in a shorter period of time, in much easier practice. But again, I think we talk about this, that group sessions help a lot, and practice. So individual practice and group sessions become the support structure to keep this, to basically integrate meditation into the lifestyle, and which then turns into or results into this higher consciousness. And Yuan, if you could bring the inner yoga slide, then we can get into the practice itself. Maharishi Patanjali, in his 8 limbs of yoga, the Ashtanga yoga, talks about these 4 elements, which are inward orientation, concentration, meditation, and resulting higher consciousness. So we will practice deep, silent meditation, manifesting transcendental energy. But to get there, there are 2 steps that we need to do up front. Inward orientation, which is helped by 2 things. So one, eye is lightly closed, and then observe your body that it is still and in a relaxed posture. So relaxed posture, still and relaxed posture, eyes lightly closed, and both for the same reason, that we want to focus inwards and manifest transcendental energy, or focus on manifesting transcendental energy. So our object of concentration in this meditation is basically, take a source, a conscious source of this consciousness or transcendental energy, and think of it, the transcendental energy is right here, right now, with us in form of light. And that light, this transcendental light, is entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we are becoming one with this light. And mind wanders away, which is natural. And every time that happens, this inward orientation kicks in again. So we're concentrating, our object of concentration, or what we're trying to manifest, is transcendental energy. And you can take any conscious form of the source of this transcendental energy, and in form of light, it's entering our heart, enlightening our heart, then distributing throughout our body, and we are getting totally and completely immersed in this light. So we're not doing anything. we're just observing light, this transcendental light in our heart, throughout our body, and that we're becoming that energy, we're becoming that consciousness. So that's the thought, that's the focus. And, once you get deeper into meditation, who we are, where we are, what we started with, all that melts away, and that deep meditation then results into higher consciousness. So we'll start with music. Music helps concentration, but our focus is just one, that we think about this transcendental energy in form of light that's entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we're becoming totally immersed in this light. And we'll transition out with music. Let's start now, and then we'll talk a little more about the practice afterwards. Let's Happy Saturday, everyone. Just so after the meditation, it's your time to share any thoughts, comments, questions. Hello, hello. Himanshu and Apurva from London.
नमस्कार चाचा
Namaskar.
कैसे हैं आप
Good. Any thoughts, comments, questions? Good to see you all here. So Eddie, what's on your mind?
I was just thinking that often when people begin satsang, they often ask the question, how do I know I'm improving? What signs can I look for? And I was just thinking that, one of the big things is you're improving when you basically keep practicing. That's probably the greatest strength that you can have when it comes to becoming proficient in satsang, and that is your ability to be persistent and just be willing to practice each and every day or each and every week, whatever you can, because that will ultimately yield you the greatest reward. So it's not so much your ability to experience, let's say, the energy circulating in your body. I think you call them the values, right? I mean, those are some of the things that you may experience, and those are some of the things you can look forward to. But that's not really a great indicator for me, from my standpoint, of your success. Your success is really rooted in your persistence and your desire and your willingness to practice. These other things you can experience, but it's like Guru Maharaj said, you don't want to dwell on those. Those won't get you anywhere. They ultimately become roadblocks for you. But the one thing that you should be proud of and continue to practice, and that is your persistence, because that ultimately leads you to the final goal. So these other things like being able to use your mental powers, transfer thoughts. You can be in the supermarket or something like that, and you think about someone, and you find that you can affect their thoughts, basically their movements and their attention. Those things are great. You say, yeah, this stuff really works, but they don't get you anywhere. But the one thing that makes you powerful and that gets you to where you want to be is that persistence and that desire and that willingness to practice. I mean, if you have that, then you're going to be successful, and you're going to be here longer than anyone else. So, when you ask that question, how do I know I'm progressing? I say, well, if you're coming here every week and you're doing it at home, you're progressing. That's the
So that's an interesting one, because every now and then this question gets asked by someone, and I think it was being asked of my grandfather, my uncles, my parents as well, so one aspect, as you're saying, progress typically would mean that if I felt that I got something, then that fuels the ego, and as you're saying, I think anything that fuels the ego actually is detrimental to spiritual progress, then, so the question then becomes, in a process where that's the backdrop, how do you actually see that you're trending right, you're progressing in the right direction, and so on and so forth. So, and as I think you probably mentioned that even how you're feeling after meditation changes in different phases. So just keep practicing is the key. But there are two measures that have been talked about. So one of the key things that Guru Maharaj, my grandfather, who started this process, he said that your inner happiness, and inner happiness, he would say that things where your inner state settles. So if your inner happiness keeps increasing, so where you settle to, so upheavals, very happy, very sad, and then it settles somewhere, that is the level of inner happiness, which is not tied to any specific situation and, status or anything. So that inner happiness keeps increasing, your level of inner happiness keeps increasing. So that's progress. And then, and that is where I think I feel I don't see people who have been practicing for long may also not see as much change in behavior for the better. And I think that is where sometimes I feel if you are really doing satsang, which is a deep connection to transcendental energy, and you're imbibing positive energy that way, then you got to get better, in terms of behavior. And we have talked about yama and niyama and all that as well. So it's almost like a catch-22. Does that happen first, or does this? So if you're practicing the right way, then your behavior ought to get better. Your ability to control your anger, greed, lust, etc., etc. So Jeff, Taru, Colleen, Cynthia, any other comments, questions? So Onkar, what how are you?
Bhaiya, namaste.
Namaskar.
No, I was just enjoying the moment, being in the present. That's what I am doing. And yeah, that-
All right. So okay. So Eddie, you want to wrap it up?
The final thoughts would be, when we all come here together as a group, we not only help everyone else in the group, but we also help ourselves immensely. And so, I just wanted to, thank everyone for being here and being part of this group, and know that not only are we helping people here today at this satsang, but we're also helping, bring in the positive light and the, positive forces into this world. And so we act as a counterbalance to those things that are negative. So, we're doing our service in that sense too. So, thank everyone for being here, and hopefully we'll see everyone again next week.
Yep. On that note, have a nice week ahead, and love, light, and peace be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjit ji.
Namaste, bhaiya. Bye, everyone.
नमस्ते भैया जी
Namaskar.
नमस्कार भैया।